Welcome to Heist. I'm Bradley Hackworth, joined by Jonathan Ems, otherwise known as Doc.
Greetings, fellow humans.
And this week, yes, yesterday was Christmas, and potentially when you watch or listen to this, Christmas was a while ago. But we are doing our Christmas episode, which is the Muppet Christmas Carol and 8-Bit Christmas.
It is often tradition that when you do your Christmas episode, you're supposed to do it just before the holiday. And it occurs to me, we have not done that yet.
Not even a little bit.
Every single celebration episode we have done has been well past the mark, except for our last Halloween episode, which we did on Halloween Day.
We also did Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving, didn't we?
Oh, that's right, we did. But we didn't do a Thanksgiving movie. That wasn't really a celebration episode.
True.
So
That is true. Okay, I'll give you that. But this week, like I said, Muppet Christmas Carol versus not versus because we're switching things up a little bit this week, and 8-Bit Christmas. Definitely a Muppet Christmas Carol, old favorite from oh my god. And this was the directorial debut, I believe, of Brian Henson, Jim Henson's son.
I think at least for theatrical, yeah. I'm pretty sure that he had been directing some Muppet stuff, like some of their TV specials and stuff before this. But for his theatrical directorial debut, yeah, this was his first.
And way to hit the ground running.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is absolutely incredible. One of the things that I really love about it is when Michael Caine signed on to be a part of the Muppet Christmas Carol, he said he would only do it if he could perform it like he was performing for the Royal Shakespeare Academy. He wanted to give it his all, or he didn't want to do it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And that's one of the things that made it work. In fact, I remember trying to remember where it is I saw it. It probably was just an internet meme or something, but someone pointed out that probably the reason why two of the best Muppet productions out there are Muppet Christmas Carol and Muppet Treasure Island. And the reason for that is because Michael Caine treats the Muppets like fellow actors, and Tim Curry treats himself like a Muppet. And that's why they work.
That one of the other really amazing, I love that. I really do love that. One of the other really amazing things about Muppet Christmas Carol is when you watch any scene, the actors are walking on about 2-foot wide planks.
Mm-hmm.
So when Michael Caine is in his office with all the rats and everything like that, as he's doing his walk with the cane, that's only about a 2-foot wide walkway that he was on because all the puppeteers had to be a few feet below him, performing all this. So that was way trickier than you can. Kudos to Michael Caine, which I don't think I could ever stop giving because it's Michael Caine.
Right, yes. Oh, and I think that this is standard fare. Just about anybody who's done a guest spot on Sesame Street, which is a lot of people, that's basically your practice run on that. If you've gotten to be enough of a name that you get to do your guest appearance on Sesame Street, that is your appearance with the Muppets training on doing your whole performance in the small space that is at your height.
I could definitely see it. Yeah, Sesame Street was never as high pressure as the Muppets.
Right.
No, which that comedy special that you're always talking about, even he had a joke about the Muppets where he went in and dropped the F-bomb in front of Fozzie Bear. Outstanding.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I told you that you were gonna like it, and there were so many times you would say something, and I'm sitting there going like, why hasn't he watched it yet? It's like so for him. So
there are a lot of things that are for me, but there's just a lot of stuff out there, man.
No, it's true, and that is kind of why we're here, is to help folks narrow that down, I guess. So
fair enough. The Muppet Christmas Carol, written by Charles Dickens, screenplay by Jerry Juhl, directed by Brian Henson, starring Michael Caine, Dave Goelz, Steve Whitmire, Jerry Nelson, Frank Oz, Dave Rudman, and honestly, just a whole host of voiceover talent that kind of went through. And I picked up a few more of them as we went through. This film, there's a reason why it sits so well in my heart. Just in loving memory of Jim Henson and Richard Hunt, man. Like they really gave their all.
And let's not forget music by Paul Williams. Paul Williams is one of those songwriters that doesn't get enough credit. He had a time, like in the late 70s where he was kind of a little bit of a star, kind of, sort of.
Well, what were some of the projects that he was a part
Mainly,
of?
he's the one who wrote Rainbow Connection. That's the
Okay.
thing. So that's the main thing. That's the kind of songwriter he is. And yeah, it's like we all give credit to Rainbow Connection because it was originally and always has been and always will be a Kermit the Frog song, but it was written by Paul Williams, and that was another smooth move on Brian Henson's part to bring him back for this, because that's kind of one of those, that's part of the Muppet magic, is Muppets performing music written by
Well,
Paul Williams.
that's
So
one of my notes in here is like we get right into Muppet style music. The overture, yes, by Paul Williams, and going through the credits, not as the actors, but as the Muppets, I will never not love that.
right,
The
yeah,
Great Gonzo as Charles Dickens.
right.
I loved that. That one, special place in my heart with that.
Well, and they knew who they were making this for, straight up. I mean, that's the thing, is like you say Michael Caine, he wanted to perform it like he was doing it for the Royal Shakespeare, but I mean, let's be honest, he also knew it was like the Royal Shakespeare, matinee show for the kids. There were some things he toned down, especially in the graveyard scene. Michael Caine could have made that scene traumatizing if he wanted to, but he didn't, because he knew it was going to be kids watching this. So he was able to keep it serious, able to keep it a good performance without going all the way.
I don't know. I think he went pretty hard in that cemetery scene.
Oh, he definitely went hard, but he didn't go as hard as he could have.
I think if he would have went harder, I don't think the scene would have been as nice as it was. Like I don't like not nice because it's not supposed to be. It wasn't. Well, let's get there.
Okay, all right.
All right. We start off with after this nice long shot and the hungry pigs finished breakfast, and then it's time for lunch, and it leads into a beautiful one shot establishing the world of the Muppets and the people together in this place.
Right.
And I mean those one shots are always great. When you have a one shot included with puppetry and all of that, that is even
That's
better.
nuts. That's
Yeah,
nuts is
that
what
is
that is.
crazy. And we end on the Great Gonzo, played by Dave Goelz, and Rizzo the Rat, played by Steve Whitmire. Well, voiced, because
Right.
both of them are played by like 4 people apiece. So,
Depending on where there is, in when it comes
depending
to
on
the
the actions.
right, depending on the actions. When it comes to, the standard Muppet / Sesame Street fare, is that whoever the voice is also the main puppeteer. They're the one with the hand in the mouth, pretty much on any given moment.
True up until a point, because most of those voice actors are voicing multiple Muppets.
Yeah.
So you have different puppeteers that are going, and a lot of those guys oftentimes are off stage doing the voices while the others are doing the puppetry.
I guess it does depend on the situation, but generally
Yeah,
speaking, yeah,
always.
that's the
Yeah, yeah,
rule.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, that lesson in economics. Oh God, God, God. Ooh.
Mm.
Do you remember? Actually, I'm going to skip that one. That one's a little bit too heavy.
I already did bring up late stage capitalism during the holidays, man. So we
Well,
don't want to go.
that is a thing about this movie. I mean, a lot of the issues over the billionaire class and the working class, that is a very, very old problem. This
Mhm.
is not new.
Right.
These solutions to these things are not new. We know what they are. A lot of
Right.
people fighting them. Gonzo plays Dickens, and I love Rizzo the Rat's. A blue furry Charles Dickens who hangs out with a rat. Love it. Dude, everything Rizzo said was I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I think this movie is perfect.
Mm.
Perfectly made for me.
Right.
Every single line in this movie absolutely just hits home. And I'm curious, when you watched this,
Yeah.
did you watch the version that had the oh god, Meredith sing, or no,
Meredith.
Belle, her name's Belle in the story?
No, I don't think I saw Belle sing, but I
That's the
don't
thing,
remember for
because
sure.
there is, like, in the VHS copies and like on the DVD, on the Laserdisc, the
Mhm.
version that I saw when I was a kid was with Belle singing, and there's a song between her and young Scrooge and it just eviscerates Michael Caine. I remember being crazy bored by that scene when I was a kid, and I can't. It's not on the Disney Plus Muppet Christmas Carol either. So
I'll have to go back and look because it's not coming to mind, but I'm trying to remember how that scene went down.
that
But
is the scene that made the movie a little bit too heavy. The test
yeah,
audiences and everything like that, they're like that makes it not for kids.
see, that's one of those things that bugs me, and I've come across this before. This has been going on for years. This is not a new thing. Disney's not the only one who does this, but there is some weird practice of like the theatrical release, the VHS version, the DVD version, and sometimes even depending on what store you bought the DVD at, these will all be different edits for no fucking reason. And it's not like they're cutting out the nude scenes or something like that. It's
Unless you're
literally
buying ripped off versions, then there's no way the DVD changes from place to
no,
place.
it absolutely does. This actually happened with Iron Man. I remember this is how I found out about this when I saw Iron Man on DVD with some friends. Afterwards, my friend commented on how one of his favorite scenes from when we all saw it in the theater was missing. And when we went online to find out, to check out what happened, that's where we found out there was a literal list of which scenes were missing and which scenes were added to the DVD depending on which store you bought it at. Walmart had a version, Hollywood Video had a different version, like all down the list. Like depending on where you bought your DVD copy, you got a different cut of Iron Man.
Okay, but that was like what, 15 years ago? Do you think that's still a practice?
I'm pretty sure it was a practice like from the very inception of home video when I find like little clues here and there. I don't think it's yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's a pretty constant running thing. I don't know why they do it. I don't think it's just a copyright protection thing. I think literally there's some executive sitting somewhere goes like, "Hey, let's change that," like a signature kind of thing. Like I
Nah, I
honestly don't
mean
know, but it's
it's like
true.
because I mean, well, for one, there are definitely dozens of versions of like a dozen versions of a lot of movies. Major global blockbusters, they do change different scenes, whether it was released in China, America,
Mhm.
Japan. Like they do change things. The flag that's shown, the advertisements that are in the movie, stuff like that.
Sure.
So I know that there's a bunch of different versions, but eh, I'll look into that. We'll have to look into that and
All
see
right.
if that's still something or how, like, even if it is still something, how that's going down. Because, like, you like to like hammer on like the like late stage capitalism and stuff like that. Different
Yeah.
versions just means people have more stuff to go buy. If you want to be a complete collector and stuff like that, there's that.
Which would make sense if this was something that was like advertised. Like if you bought the, Walmart version of Iron Man and it had a sticker on there that said exclusive Walmart version, and then you had to go out and buy your Target version if you wanted to collect the whole set. If that was a thing, but it wasn't. There was literally nothing in the packaging or in the advertising to say that this was going on. We found out about it by digging deep on the internet.
We'll talk more about that in the after hour.
Okay.
So Gonzo says he's Dickens. Rizzo denies it. And then he's like, I know the story like the back of my hand. He's like, well, then tell us. All right, I got a mole. I got a, like, no, don't tell us your hand. Tell us the story. Too many golden moments just right at the beginning of this. The
Yeah,
Marleys were
that's the one thing
good.
about Muppet movies and Muppet Show, man, is that be prepared for all the puns. Like
Oh,
if you're not a pun humor person, okay, I'm not gonna say it's not for you because there's definitely way more there, but I mean, brace yourself.
there is that. The Marleys were dead as a doornail. And the expo into the Scrooge introduction played by Michael Caine. And then we get the song Scrooge by the Muppet cast.
Hmm.
And I'm sorry, man. Every single song that the Muppets sing is an absolute banger.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
There's no change in that. Ends on him giving that nasty look and our very first humbug. Love that humbug.
Hmm.
Like that is something that should like I feel like when you are handed a line like that, it's very very easy to make it cheesy and like not be
Which
able to sell it
many do.
properly, but
Yeah.
and yes, many do. Uh was it Patrick Stewart's version of A Christmas Carol? It was good, but I don't think that he sold the humbug as well as Michael Caine did.
Nah.
No, did you ever see that one?
No, actually, I haven't. Now I think about it. I think I've
I
seen scenes. I think I've seen scenes from it, but I never watched the whole thing.
I do still recommend it. I mean, A Christmas Carol it is one of my favorite Christmas stories. I love it. I love the heart and thought and everything behind it. But A Muppet Christmas Carol is still the winner.
Mm.
I love that. Gonzo using Rizzo to clean the window, and then thank you for making me a part of the story. I feel like their friendship is pretty much perfect.
Well, they do make a great team. I think that's. I don't think this was the. Was this the first time we saw like a full Gonzo and Rizzo team up?
Oh,
Because
come
I
on,
know
man. This is
it's
this is way
definitely
too
been
old
a.
for me to know that.
Okay, I think it might have been, but it was definitely like it cemented it. That's why anything that has Rizzo has Gonzo, anything that has Gonzo has Rizzo. That they're kind of the seminal comedy duo there.
They are a perfect team. I love them. Kermit, played by Steve Whitmire as Bob Cratchit, and the rats going over eviction notices. And Scrooge says they can gift wrap the notices for Christmas. Like, dude, this guy is a dick.
The things that like that, yeah, the things that Scrooge says, his retorts and his lines throughout the scene are some cold-blooded shit.
So cold, but at the same time, also just brilliant. Which,
Hmm.
by now, I should know which lines are from Dickens and which lines were just put in there. But unfortunately, this is kind of where I study Dickens.
Right, yeah, I hear you.
uh, Harvest time for the moneylenders.
Mm,
That was a
mm,
line that
mm.
just touched, like,
Social
it
comment, and
hurt.
they wonder how
Mhm.
today's generation got radicalized. Right the fuck here, people.
Oh, come on. Like, these
between
lessons are
between
literally everywhere.
yeah,
But yeah.
between this and Bug's Life, like the rich
I
folks
don't know
had
if you
no
could say
chance with
that's I
today's
don't know if you could
generation.
say that's a radical like notion or anything like that. It's pretty in your face, just messages about right and wrong. Ain't nothing radical about it.
There is messages about right and wrong, and then there is outright saying things like harvest time for the money lenders, or like in Bug's Life, where the puny little ants scene, like that's the one that everyone keeps bringing up. So there's having the questions of right and wrong, and then there's actually mapping out precisely what the message is, no bones about it, and selling it the way these movies did. Because it's like you take a look at some of the moral of the story stuff from my time, when it was like G.I. Joe, knowing is half the battle. It was shit like, look both ways when you cross the street. Also good advice, but doesn't exactly say, take down the man the way these do.
Did you start watching the news again?
No, still can't do it. Every time I think about it, like, I get up in the morning, I get my coffee. It is the time in the morning I usually turn on the news podcast, and my thumb hovers over the podcast room, and I'm like, nope, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, because we're trying to talk Muppets. You keep going back to the social justice thing. Like, I'm trying to talk about the Muppets, man.
You're the one who keeps bringing up the fact that this is like some hardcore commentary. That's the commentary.
I'm saying the dialogue is amazing. You're the one saying it's the social commentary.
Okay, well, I mean, what's true is true. Can't help it.
But Steve McIntosh, as Scrooge's nephew, shows up with an unbelievably cheery message. And during his message, just getting all the rats and Kermit all hyped up about Christmas and the charity professor and Beaker who popped in.
Hmm.
And then, oh, he gets rushed right out of there. And oh
Yeah.
man, the hatred in Michael Caine's eyes during that scene was incredible. I feel uncomfortable every time I go and watch this
Mm.
because his performance is that powerful.
Well, before that, in the during that conversation with Scrooge and the rats and stuff, and they're asking for like the extra shovel of coal because it's all so cold in there, and he goes, "How would they like to, enjoy the unemployment line?" And they immediately cut to the rats are now all in island regalia, yelling "heat wave" and dancing around. The art of the cutaway joke that has been perfected by the Muppets. I don't know if I've seen its equal. The way that they do that complete, like it was a complete costume change and everything for the rats on that one, and to really sell the joke. It was almost. I don't think even Looney Tunes has pulled it off with that kind of immediacy and delivery, the way that they do in Muppets, and the way they did in that one. That was one of my favorite jokes of the movie because of that.
I would love to give the Muppets the credit for that. I don't have the confidence in tossing them that, because I've seen it before, and
Mm,
like they did do a good. I mean, the Muppets did a fantastic job with it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. They just did an like they just did it so damn well.
right.
I can see where you're coming from on that. Using Rizzo to stoke the fire as Gonzo narrates, literally the physical gags on this,
Hmm.
they never stop. They literally just never stop. Scrooge makes the jokes about about the prisons taking in the homeless. He's like, my tax dollars go towards the prisons and the homeless shelters. Like, let them stay there, or the poorhouse. And the professor's like, but some would rather die, and just flat out, well then let them die. Just less
Hmm.
of a strain on society. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, no, this is our bad guy is a bad guy, and
totally.
that Christmas cheer, he does not have it. He does not understand it. He has no love for his fellow man.
It's like beyond Christmas cheer. Like he's just an angry, bitter old dick. Like I can't imagine if he.
That
I
he is,
mean,
and the
is he any
story
different during
that
the
we get
summertime? Like when it's warm out, does he get a little more cuddly? I don't know. Like
doesn't seem like it, not based off of the flashbacks we got.
nah.
And then oh, love is the only thing sillier than a Merry Christmas. And as he kicks that charity out, oh, that breaks me. Scares the caroler. The caroling gives him hope when he opens the door back up. And then he chucks that frickin' wreath at him. Like, oh man, I felt bad for a little bunny Muppet. They got me. Hatchet asking for the day off because it'll save money on coal. And using that logic and everything like that, like nobody else is going to be open. Like, why do you want us here just burning through expensive coal? And his response, that's a poor excuse to rob a man's wallet every December the 25th.
That is, and
Damn.
that is such a rich guy's mentality to think literally any expense to the operation of your company is you being robbed. Like anytime any if it's like, hey, I'm working overtime, you owe me overtime pay. You're ripping me off with this. It's like, no, man,
But
it's what
there's a
you have to
reason
pay.
why there's a reason why not all rich people are rich, but there's a like the people who get rich off of putting it in, there's a reason they got there. Same way as like my great grandmother when I was growing up, dude, she lived through the Great Depression. She never stopped living through the Great Depression. There was times when I was when I was working as a waiter, and you'd have the dudes with like gold ring, that like pinky ring that like came up like 6 inches off his hand, like just
Mm.
walking around sporting money. Dude never tipped. Dude had money because he never let it go.
It's a sick mentality, if you ask me. I wouldn't call that's the reason why they're rich. I would say that's the reason why the only friends they have are the ones who are after their money.
Two things can be true at the same time. If you literally are like so stingy with your money and all that, because yeah, the people go out, drop money here, drop money there, drop like candy bars, sodas, all this. The ones who don't do any of that, they have all that extra money. If you're good with money, you're good with money. If you are psychotically stingy with your money, that's Scrooge. But there's a middle ground that is perfectly freaking healthy. Giving all your money
Okay, yeah.
away, that's pretty damn unhealthy.
I
Giving
mean, yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, yeah, there is a middle ground there, but that's honestly like I have an issue with people saying things like someone who is not at all willing to pay what is owed unless you yank it out of them by the tooth.
You're
That's
saying
that's why
something
they're rich.
different than what I'm saying, though. Like the people who earn their money, do their thing, they're really,
Yeah.
really tight about it, they hold on to it. They're just good with money. Like the
Okay.
one, like,
Sure.
yeah.
But yeah,
Uh,
it's the that's why they're rich thing that bothers me. It's when people say things like that. Well, that's why they're the rich. No, no, no. It's the other way around.
well, when you kind of look at that, because when you look at, because I know tons of people who have, like, they make pretty good money, they do okay with it, and they're like that. and they are about the dumbest people on the planet when it comes to what they spend money on.
Sure.
And then they sit there and then they bitch about, well, if all these other people have money. It's like, no, you had money. You were dumb with it. Now you don't have money. You should not be angry at the people who do have money because you're bad with it. That's the mentality that kind of gets me.
Okay. Well, I mean, treating your employees like they're robbing you when they want to get paid. That's what I'm talking about. That's not why you're rich.
But that's not what he's doing. That's not what's going on here.
Yeah, that's literally what he says. He's saying, to pick a man's pockets. That's what he's accusing them of trying to pull one over on him by asking for the day off for Christmas.
Where I do see where, like, no, I'm not disagreeing with you on that point at all. The reasoning that they gave behind it was a solid one, and because he is actually intelligent with money and not just an ass, they actually got the day off.
He capitulated.
If he was, if he was not the guy who would realize, oh no, I'm. If he didn't realize that he was going to lose money on it and he just wanted to make the employees suffer, different kind of a dick.
Right.
You see where I'm coming from with that?
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
No, but I definitely understand that the other side though. One More Sleep Till Christmas song. That one, like as the shop is closing up, the Kermit and the rats are all singing One More Day Till Christmas, One More Sleep Till Christmas.
Right. Yeah.
That was a
this cultural
movie brought some
great.
What do you mean?
I mean, it was since this movie came out, like that's when I started hearing like my friends and people speak in those terms, like only it's only 30 more sleeps till Christmas, things like that.
That might be you and your friends thing. I don't think I have ever heard anybody say that a single time in my life. Maybe immediately after watching this movie. I don't know. The Skating Penguins, Kermit, and then Gonzo and Rizzo. Like that whole scene, watching the Muppets off of their strings doing that. Yes, you can definitely see the camera work. You can see all of that stuff. And that didn't matter. A lot of joy in there. And then Scrooge returns to the former home of the Marleys, which is now his home. And the door knocker shifts into, was that Waldorf or Statler?
Here's the thing. I've never known which was which my entire life.
Thank you. I was really hoping that I was not going to be alone on that.
I know that they are Statler and Waldorf. Don't ask me which one's which. Yeah.
Okay, good enough. Gonzo gets his nose knocked into the door, changes his voice, and Rizzo doubts he knows what's up. And I like that doubt that Rizzo is constantly giving him, and then Gonzo just keeps telling the story. He's like, I got this. And just that sheer confidence running through it. Light turns on, and then right into the camera. How does he do that? I love it, man. I love Rizzo and Gonzo. I want them to narrate every classic story. The fact that they didn't do more of this was weird.
It is, yes, it is very weird that this would seem to be a one-off. Yeah.
And Scrooge attacks his best dressing gown, and then time for bread and cheese, and that bell ringing. That bell ringing, even though it's never explained, probably explained in the book, or in, the Dickens actual written story. But in this,
I don't remember
it's just creepy. It's just an incessantly, it will not stop ringing. The bell just keeps going. And Michael Caine sells that terror.
And that is, since you bring up the book and the details of the book, that was one of the things that always threw me. Because my first exposure to the Muppet Christmas Carol was actually the Disney version with, Uncle Scrooge McDuck. And they had Goofy playing Marley in that one. And so you see Goofy's big old schnoz come out of the door knocker when that scene happened. And I remember even as a kid understanding, the concept of an adaptation. I genuinely thought that that was a Disney thing, that the whole Marley's face coming out of the door knocker was just something the Disney people put in just as a joke because of the whole giant Goofy schnoz on there. But when
that's just why they chose Goofy to be the one to do it.
Right, exactly. And it wasn't until, reading the book in high school and actually reading the story and reading the part about seeing Marley's face in the door knocker, I'm like, wait, what? That's actually in the book? That's nuts.
I like it. The Marley and Marley song by Statler and Waldorf, Dave Goelz, and Jerry Nelson And all of Michael Caine's reactions like, no, no, no. I had some moldy cheese or some bad bread. Yes, there's
Right,
more
yeah.
to gravy than grave of you. And I'm like, what? That
Yeah.
line, I love it. That delivery, amazing. And
Which, yeah, again, I think that may actually be from the Dickens book, which means
I can
Dickens
believe that.
himself was writing Muppets level puns, which it just it just sort of makes the whole thing make sense on the marriage of these two things into one perfect creation of media.
If Shakespeare plays weren't always, ending in, I would like to see that. Like some Muppets do some Shakespeare,
Well,
some Dickens,
they don't
some
all end in death. Some of them end in mass marriages instead.
that's just as bad. Uh but Statler and Waldorf, I love that they come back like grave than gravy. I like that. Ah!
Right,
And
yeah.
then it feels good to be heckling again. And they keep talking about how they did not care about men. They didn't care about their fellow man and all this.
Hmm.
And I don't know if I've ever noticed this before this viewing, but Scrooge was really insistent that no, you guys weren't unfeeling towards men. But he's kind of
Right,
like, he's like, no, I'm not unfeeling towards men. Like, kind of like
right.
defending himself through defending them.
Right, yeah. Well, he's trying to, and I think that's kind of the where the commentary begins, because they're basically saying like, oh yeah, sure, we were good people to our friends, the other wealthy money lenders like us, we were good people, but to the people we were lending money to, the people we kept evicting, the orphans that were left out in the snow when we closed their orphanage on Christmas Day, stuff like that. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
no, doesn't matter how many lords you're buddies with. That shit'll fuck with you, and that's and yeah, and this is news to Scrooge apparently.
I guess so. Dude
Yeah.
never really took a look.
Yeah.
But another thing that I'm not so sure I noticed until, because I didn't, like, I'm not a big Dickens reader. I should be, but where you have
Mm.
talked about, I think it's called classic syndrome.
Yes. Yeah. Classic
Yeah,
syndrome, as
where
told by Mark Twain. Yeah.
where people like,
Classic is something everyone wants to have read, but nobody wants to read, and which I think extends to movies and TV shows as well, because nobody has seen Roots.
you haven't seen Roots?
Nope. I remember when it was on. I remember my parents watching it, but I never saw it after the original broadcast.
I've seen Roots. I don't know a lot of white people who have, but yeah, I remember when I was younger, like a lot of my black friends would say like it was really important their parents made them watch it, everything like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's not really like, yeah, the white community, I don't think our parents are really pushing that movie on us.
No, yeah, no, that's not something that they're making required viewing.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Um like that. Should we be worried about the kids? No. This is culture. That that I feel like that is something that I definitely experienced a lot as a kid. Like, should I be
Hmm.
watching this? Like, dude, come
Yep.
on. It's culture. It's
Right.
Candyman.
Right. Exactly. You need to be seeing this. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to know who Jason is. You need to know who Freddy Krueger is. Like
Exactly. Yep.
that was my upbringing.
This will haunt your nightmares for years to come. Good.
Mm-hmm. Scrooge goes to bed, another humbug, and then oh god, Rizzo and the gate. That whole thing. One of like the fantastic bit of dialogue. There are only two things
Mhm.
in this world that I hate: heights and jumping from them. I love that more. I don't. That is such a simple thing, and I love that more than I can say. And then jumping down, running back through to go get his jelly beans. Come like nah. Every bit comic gold.
Oh yeah,
Every
for sure.
single piece of that.
Yep. 100% unnecessary to the plot or story, but absolutely this movie would not have been the same without it.
So we get our first look. Stroke of midnight. The ghost of Christmas past has
Fucking
or
Ghost of Christmas
arrives.
Past, man.
So creepy, so beautiful, so
A
wonderfully shot.
It's bad
Voiced by
enough that
Jessica Fox, and she did incredible. The voice?
have we seen her in anything else since? I'm trying to remember.
Nah,
The
not
name
really, not
Jessica
much.
Fox doesn't. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's bad enough that they brought a creepy child into this, but a creepy child with a featureless rubber face. Like I had a really, really hard time watching The Ghost of Christmas Past.
I thought she was beautiful. So the two ways that they shot that the Ghost of Christmas Past with that ethereal doll is
Mhm.
for two scenes. They dropped the entire doll into a giant vat of baby oil with a green screen behind it.
Okay, sure, yeah, that
But it
makes
was
sense.
really, and which is what made a couple of those shots look
That whole
amazing. But it was hard to keep that the baby oil clean. So after a couple shots with the baby oil, they switched it over to water, and that doll fell apart immediately after
Oh
they got their
no.
final shot.
Damn.
So they just got it under the wire. But could you imagine doing a scene with a Muppet and baby oil with a green screen behind it? I mean, Michael Caine.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
What an actor.
how I mean, was he actually doing a performance to like the puppet that they just green screened out, or was they what, or did they
I
superimpose
think
it
they had
afterwards
to,
and he was acting to blank air?
I'm thinking that he was acting to blank air,
Okay.
but I
Then
actually
yeah,
don't
this is
know.
probably old hat for him. Yeah.
That was still relatively new at that time, doing things blue screen, green screen, stuff like
I
that.
guess it was. Yeah. Huh.
Like
Okay.
this was still the 80s, 90s,
Was it really?
91,
No,
91. Sorry.
91. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
I like that. What is that light? It is the past. I always loved that delivery, all of it. Gonzo and Rizzo getting dragged through the forest. I love that. Come out with a chicken. Ah, this is Patrice. Yeah, we've met.
Right.
Sorry, man. I love the Muppets way too much for an adult.
No, 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 no. That's it.
Well,
There's
you
no
know
such
what?
thing as that. There's no two growing up for the Muppets. There's
Okay,
no such
okay.
thing.
Maybe too grown up for Muppet Babies. But then again, I don't even know that because it's been so long since I've even seen any of that.
No, that's true. Yeah, I don't think I've watched it since it was actually like on air the original time.
I'm pretty sure. Rizzo getting chased by the cat and Gonzo narrates like it's not even happening. I swear to God, their friendship is perfect for comedy. Caine absolutely lets the joy show up in his voice when he sees his childhood schoolmates. Like
Right.
he breaks that Scrooge persona so fast. Like my old school chums, like all of this. Like you pay attention to what he really does, and it makes it even better. That's the thing. Like some movies, you pay attention, and it kind of makes it worse.
Yeah.
Gremlins, outstanding movie, so much fun. But there are some moments in Gremlins that you're like, okay, skip, 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 skip. I want my Gremlins movie back. Like, this is not one of those. Oh, he sees his young self and then goes into like self defense mode about being alone as a child.
Right. Yeah.
Like, no, it was fine. It gave me more time for my study and all this. Like, you are literally watching this guy try to defend his, and you see, it doesn't tell you, it just shows you. Like
Right.
this,
Exactly.
it is an amazing aspect of something that was written that actually showed you everything that happened and barely told you a single thing. Like I really appreciated this. They were all very much the same. Nothing ever changed. That was a very heartbreaking piece of dialogue. And then she said, "You changed." And then Frank Oz as Sam the Eagle. Oh, love
Perfect
that.
choice. Which is hilarious. He's Sam the Great American Eagle. He is the perfect choice for a British schoolmaster. And boy, do they hang a hat on that at the end of that scene in the best of ways.
It is business.
Yeah.
It is the American way. But I love
Yeah.
that when Gonzo goes up to correct him, he's like, oh, hey, Sam. He actually says Sam because
Right. Exactly.
he's talking to the Muppet acting as it. That
Exactly.
level of like, I don't know, fourth wall, eighth wall. I don't know which wall you broke on that one.
Metaversing or this, yeah, some sort of a meta joke kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
the meta humor on that is like, it's the American way. I don't know, but it is the British way. So good, so good. Sam the Eagle he's too good. Oh, that moment with Rizzo. Like the lamp, not the rat. Like the lamp, not the rat. And then
Classic.
goes,
Yep.
yep, too good, too good. Having Fozzie Bear be Fozziewig.
Yep.
And I love that. Oh, it's old Fozziewig himself.
Which is what, because it's like that is already like those are the two like competing things, because there you have like whenever people talk about, you know, the Fezziwig character, you're like, yeah, you can't help but think you mean Fozziewig, but at the same time, also I can still hear Scrooge McDuck saying it in a Scottish accent, Fezziwig, old Fezziwig, you know, like it's a like I don't know why in the Christmas Carol they decided to make him Scottish, but I hear that in a Scottish accent all the time, and so you know,
I completely have no idea what you're talking about.
you've never seen the Disney Christmas Carol with Scrooge McDuck?
No.
Well, he was I think he was the like introduction of Scrooge as Ebenezer Scrooge. They created a whole new duck character, and Donald as the happy nephew kind of thing. But yeah, that was, and then it was that because that was so popular, that's how we got Uncle Scrooge McDuck and DuckTales. It was a spin-off of the Disney Christmas Carol.
See, I was a cool kid. I watched
Oh,
Darkwing Duck.
okay. Yeah. I was a teenager by the time Darkwing Duck came out, sir.
Fair enough, but I'm pretty sure we both watched DuckTales.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
I still got the theme song stuck in my head.
no,
40
there's
years
no
later.
like.
So
As soon as I even thought about DuckTales, my brain went wee-hoo. Like,
right, exactly. Yeah.
it just happens. Yes, the Fozziewig Christmas party. Rizzo becomes a ratsicle, and the Marleys on the balcony. I love their response to that speech. It was like, that was dumb. It was stupid. It was simple. It was short. I love it.
Right.
The two guys like Waldorf and Statler, like having them roast everything, that has carried on in every single media ever. Like I don't know who did that first, but the Muppets did it best.
Yes.
Like
And
there's a lot of things that the Muppets did best.
You can carve that in stone on just about anything. I don't know who did it first, but the Muppets did it best. That was like, that'll be like one of those like laws of physics within time.
I feel like I need to watch more Muppet stuff. I feel like, because I've just been I'm religious with this every single year. I watch this, and the other Christmas stuff I watch is not as family friendly, but you know, I like Christmas horror movies. It is not the greatest niche. I don't know why.
I've seen a couple here or there, of course.
Yeah.
Did you see that one? I can't remember the title of it, but it just came out like last year or 2 years ago. The one with David Harbour as Santa Claus.
Oh yeah, Violent Night.
Violent Night. That's it. Yeah. Did you see that?
That was actually a lot of fun.
It really was. With that one. Yeah. Leguizamo killed it as always in there. You know.
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about that one later. David Rudman with the Swedish Chef cameo. Thank God he was in there, because the Swedish Chef is just like that. And I think like Ralph, how do you say his name? Ralph. Yeah. Like you gotta
think like a
you
dog.
Gotta kind of bark. You gotta kind of bark when you say Ralph's name. Definitely.
Yeah.
But then Animal coming in like, and then all of a sudden just starts jamming it up, and then we get a Muppet song, and that is like that Muppet style song is everything. The meeting, meeting Belle, played by Meredith Braun, and then oh god, yeah, Michael Caine when he says, "Oh, please do not show me that Christmas," where and then we cut to what we were talking about earlier, where there is a version of this movie where she has a song. Where Belle, played by Meredith Braun, she has a nice song. It is a very nice song, but the reason it was cut after, because it was in the theatrical release, and it's in some, like we were talking about earlier, some DVDs, some VHS, and you can find it on the Laserdisc and all that. But Disney lost the original negative of the film. So there's no way, they can't even do that. They can't bring it back and put it in, because it will have a quality drop.
Right.
So they won't do it. But if they ever, but that's why we don't have that song, is because Disney actually lost the negative on the film strip.
That's heartbreaking.
That is pretty heartbreaking. But you can still, and I will jump on, and when I upload it to YouTube, I will drop it in the description. But the absolute heartbreak in Michael Caine's voice when he doesn't want to see that Christmas, the Christmas where
Hmm.
she says like, "Why haven't you proposed? I haven't become wealthy enough yet. I haven't attained this yet," and all that. And she
Hmm.
ends it with, "You don't love me. I remember when you basically, I remember when you did."
Yeah. You used to be in
Oh,
love with me, but now, yeah, it's
yeah, and then we get to see Scrooge crying over his lost love. And then just from there, what a dick move. Just dropping him right off in his own bed again. Just, hey, I'm gonna kidnap you, show you some stuff from the past, and the moment that you just start breaking down crying, I'm gonna pop out and leave you to weep in your sheets. Come on.
that is every therapist who's ever said, "Well, our time is up."
Okay, pretty much. Uh then the clock strikes 2, and this is not going to be a popular opinion, but set aside from Gonzo, this is my favorite Muppet of all time. The
Oh,
Ghost of
okay.
the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Right, yes.
I
Which
love
I
that.
always I always thought was interesting how they went with his design because clearly this Muppet, this Ghost of Christmas Present Muppet, which maybe it was because they decided they wanted to make original Muppets for all of these and that's why they didn't do it. But this guy is so clearly based off of Sweetums. I've often wondered why they didn't just have Sweetums be the Ghost of Christmas Present. But
Dunno.
yeah,
All I know is, come in and know me better, man.
right.
I'm sorry, dude. I love that guy so much. Like you're a little absent-minded spirit, aren't you?
Yeah.
No, I'm a large absent-minded spirit. Everything out of his mouth is gold.
Right, yeah.
But
And
also,
yes, and I
also,
and I
also, real quick, played by Jerry Nelson, and he did outstanding with the physical performance and the singing on this character.
yes. And yeah, and I love that sort of like that gag of he's the ghost of Christmas present. He lives in the present. He's so living in the present, he has no short-term memory. He's constantly losing track of what he just said or did.
I thought that was the greatest decision. Like,
Yeah.
have I said that? Did I say that already? And the fact that now again, this isn't said, but I feel like this is what the movie was showing us.
Right.
Because he was so absent-minded, Scrooge was like willing to joke with him a lot more than he had joked with anybody else because he would forget that Scrooge had a sense of humor. That's kind of what I was feeling from that. But I
Hmm.
might just be straight up making shit up.
Suppose it's possible.
I don't know, but like I said, the story, it shows a lot, but it doesn't shove it right in your face.
No, yeah,
Like
for
that's the
sure.
that's the thing. So I don't know if what I'm taking away is the right thing or the wrong thing, or the no, okay. There is no right or wrong, but the intended versus the unintended thing.
Right. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Hmm. Uh, tell me if you notice this when they're going and they're doing their walk and sing, and he's the "It Feels Like Christmas" song, and they have like the guards or the police or whatever with the bell, and he hits the Muppet with the bell, and his whole face collapses in, and he looks like he's got a sour face.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's a classic Muppet. He's been around for a while. They
Oh,
used him as
really?
a sight. Oh yeah, they've used him as a sight gag before. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. A lot of gags in the background of this movie. A movie to watch 100 times. A movie to watch every year around
For
Christmas
sure.
time.
Yeah.
They stuck the landing, and I've been watching this for 30 years straight or more. uh, shut up, man. Uh, shrinking down to sing with the mice, and Scrooge sways like he wants to dance with him. He's smiling along with the song, even better. And then he has that joyous moment. He's like, I want to see friends, kin, and family. And just, he feels that joy creeping up on him. And
Hmm.
made me happy, made me feel, it gave me the feels. But then when he goes to see his nephew, and that
That
that game was not the game
swift
to.
kick in the nuts.
Yeah, they play like basically a British version of 20 Questions,
Right, yeah.
and it's like, it's an unwanted thing that nobody likes, and all of this, and blah blah.
Mhm.
It's Ebenezer Scrooge, and it's like,
Yep.
dude, I thought you were the good nephew that actually was like, oh man, but were you just showing up to like maybe get some money from your rich uncle and then go off and shit talk him? Like, man, I was rooting for you. That scene did not make me like that character the way that I think I was supposed to.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like, I liked that character at the beginning, but all the way through to the end when he's sitting at that table and he's got that very confused look on his face, I'm like, I don't like you.
Right, yeah.
You know,
Which I see, and here's the thing, is like I didn't even tune in on any of that. What caught me for the first time, and granted, I probably, I haven't watched this every year. I've watched it a smattering of times over the
this
years.
is my
So
Christmas movie.
yeah,
Not
so
a,
I don't,
yeah.
I don't know if should have caught on this a long time ago, and I'm just like the last to the party as always. But what struck me was how nobody at this party was a Muppet. There was a class divide between humans and puppets in this movie.
I can't agree because the Marleys and Fozzie and Sam the Eagle.
Right. Okay. Yep. You're right. Yeah.
But
Okay. So it
I
wasn't a
don't, but
class
I
divide,
don't
but
remember
yes.
there being a Muppet in the. But I think because there was no Muppet in there, I think we were not supposed to like anybody in that room.
Okay. Yeah. No, you're right. I think you're probably right. Yeah. They weren't supposed to be the good guys. They were, you know, they were just, they were family.
Yeah. Well, he was family. Well, I guess technically his wife would be family too. That is how that
Hmm.
works.
Right. So I'm told.
uh, sure. Uh, Christmas Present is starting to show those gray hairs, and I loved how he aged throughout Christmas Day. I thought that was I've always loved
Hmm.
that. And they pop over to Cratchit's house, and Mrs. Cratchit, played by Miss Piggy, who is also played by Frank Oz,
Right. Always and forever. Yep.
which is a fact that will never not blow me away that is that is Frank Oz.
Hmm.
And David Rudman as Peter Cratchit. And yeah, you get Rizzo falling down, you get a rat on a goose. Great
Right.
gag. Loved it. Having fun.
And the endless humor of the children. The boys are frogs like Kermit, and the girls are pigs like Miss Piggy, and the way the twin daughters are like little tiny Miss Piggies. They've got her attitude, they've got her overexcitement and everything, and the two
Yup.
young boys, they're two frogs that are just trying to help. Yes, mother, I'm doing what I can. Like that whole dynamic. Um, no family therapy could parse that out the way an audience just connects to it.
I'm going to say, like, yes, they did typecast Miss Piggy into the regular role that she always like was,
Yeah.
but the original version of this, they wanted Gonzo to play the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, and they
Hmm.
wanted Miss Piggy to play the ghost. I think it was of Christmas Present or of Christmas Past.
Okay, that would have
I
been
am
interesting.
very glad they did not go that route.
No, I think they made the right call here, and it's true. But now that you've brought it up, I'm like, I would like to see some of the concept work on that. What did that look like? That sounds interesting.
Maybe. No, yeah, I can jump on board with taking a look at that. But what we
Hmm.
got, I think, was the right call.
Oh, for
Like
sure. Yeah.
whoever was in that, they did a good job. The Christmas scat song with Kermit and Tiny Tim on that rotating log, love it. So the thing about this particular scene, it took 10 different puppeteers to make that one scene happen. You had people controlling Kermit and Tiny Tim, rotating that log to make it look like he was walking down the street.
Hmm.
10 puppets for that one scene, or 10
Yep.
puppeteers for that one scene.
Oh, yeah.
I am always going to be amazed at how much work and attention to detail and love always went into Jim Henson Productions.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like they're next level. And you can't have Kermit and Miss Piggy without it getting a little steamy. I mean, it's the Muppets. I mean, it still is what
Yeah.
it is.
But
But
we all know what's going on in that household. Yes, I know.
oh,
It's
we
been
do.
going on. It's been going on for 50 years. It's not a mystery.
Oh, no, it's not. Scrooge comments on how remarkable a child like Tiny Tim is, and Kermit toasts to him, and ooh, Miss Piggy keeps it real. And those twin piggy daughters, they're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yep, he's evil. He smells bad." And then she's like, "And he dresses poorly." Like, I love it. I love that dynamic. It never got old on me. Bless Us All by Tiny Tim. And ooh, this one'll get you right in the feels, man.
Oh yeah.
That one absolutely does. That moment where he turns back to the ghost and tell me if Tiny Tim will live. An aging Christmas present throws his words back at him. If he's going to die, he better do it and decrease the surplus population, which
Yeah.
is what Scrooge said at the beginning of the movie. And when those words get tossed back at him, it looks like he got hit by a train.
Yeah. Well, and like, and I think the amazing thing is that the ghost like Christmas present doesn't even say it in a way like I'm throwing your words back at you. He's literally saying it as nonchalantly as Scrooge did. Like, fuck, man,
No,
that's
you
just
have to
cold.
remember that Scrooge said that because Scrooge does not go, I said that. No, this movie does
Mhm.
not, this movie trusts its audience to the maximum. And
Yep.
it's a children's movie. For God's sakes, learn the lesson. If kids can figure it out and kids can pick up what Charles Dickens wanted them to pick up, oh my God, trust your audiences when it comes to movies made for adults. I go crazy with this.
To be fair, it is much more common fare for kids to watch their kids' movies over and over again in order to catch every detail way more than grown-ups do. Because
That is true.
there's far, far, far more shit coming out every day for us. So yeah,
I don't know, but
maybe not
God, the
as
market is
maybe
so saturated for children's stuff. I don't even know what's out there.
yeah. I mean there are a few out there, but I do remember even like with my kids growing up, that was one of the things I did was I made a point to record Blues Clues whenever it was on,
Oh,
because
nice.
um, when Blues Clues was not on, then that meant I had to find a way to distract the kid by myself if I had shit to do. Like I was not getting anything done that day because the kid had, was like needing attention. If I
So you
wanted the
just
kid
had
to
him
leave
watch
me
Blue's Clues over and over again?
yeah, I had a 6 hour tape of nothing but Blues Clues back to back. So and I just popped that baby in, and now okay, now I can actually get to wash the dishes because the kid's not you know running around breaking shit now. So
Fair enough.
yeah, same and Bugs Life, same thing. Bugs Life, they
Oh, well,
watched
yeah.
over and
Like
over
you get
again.
those Disney movies and stuff like that. No, that's just the
Mhm.
thing you do for the
Yeah.
kids.
So
Yeah.
there's a library of like, every household that has kids has a library of about like 10, maybe if they're a rich family, they got about 20 or 30, but there's a set library of stuff for the kids that those kids have worn out.
I could.
It's not as easy to wear out a DVD like it was with VHS, but kids will
Oh.
wear out a DVD if you give them the opportunity to.
No, okay, that is fair. Christmas Present is dying, and Scrooge wishes him to stay as he's changed him. Like he's like, I've changed. You've done so much for me, and all this.
Mhm.
Like that.
He already it's like the thing is like he already knows what Ghost of Christmas Future is gonna show him, and he doesn't want to see it. He already's got the system figured out here, and he's like, look, can you just accept that I'm a changed man now? Can we skip the shitty part that I know it's coming right up?
Oh, that. Yeah, that is some hard stuff because as soon as he disappears, that fog chases Scrooge right into the future. And the
Hmm.
ghost of Christmas future is too scary for our narrators. Gonzo and Rizzo, they dip out and like, we'll catch you guys in the aftermath.
Right.
And the music is Paul Williams, perfectly
Yep.
eerie. He did a fantastic job. The Muppet of the Ghost of Christmas Future, or Christmas Yet to Come.
Right.
That Muppet, oh man, that terrified me as a child. Like
Mm.
they did good with that one. The Money Pigs roasting the recently dead, and David Shaw Parker as Old Joe the Spider, taking in
Oh yeah.
all Scrooge's belongings. Fantastic.
Just
Fantastic performance.
creepy as shit. Yeah.
Absolutely. Scrooge keeps acting like he doesn't know this is about him. And he's like, keeps mentioning like this poor soul and all this, but he's looking
Right. Yeah.
at his bed sheets. He knows they're
Oh,
his. Like he
that's the thing
responds
is
to them.
he is in denial. He's hoping there's a big reveal coming. The last two ghosts pulled a fast one on him by showing him happy shit and then bringing him down. He's seriously hoping that's the same like misdirect that this guy's using. He's like, okay, I know you're making it look like I'm dead and everyone's happy about it, but I mean, come on, it's not me, right?
Yeah, that one
That's how
hurts.
that's how this game is played.
But then he's taken over to Cratchit's to see that Tiny Tim has passed. He's got the not Tiny Tim. And they chose a spot on a hill so a deceased Tiny Tim can see the ducks on the river. And this is something that I know I never noticed until this viewing.
Mm,
Notice how that Scrooge says, how can we endure this? Not how can the Cratchits, not how can they. He has
right,
started to include himself as part of the community in his own mind.
right, yeah.
I thought that was a fantastic bit of inclusion on the dialogue.
Yep.
I'm curious. Did you ever notice that, or is that
No, I mean, no. I mean, I remember that was how it went. Now you said it. I didn't notice it in the moment, but yeah, it is interesting that he's starting to think in terms of the community as a family, and I think that's kind of one of those interesting things about Scrooge is like that's the realization that he's coming to is that in his mind he has kind of in the same way that Fezziwig treated everyone at his company like one big family. In his mind, he thinks he's treating his employees like a family too. He's just really bad at it. And he's coming to terms with the realization of how bad he is at it. He hadn't thought about it in terms of, oh wait, yeah, this guy Cratchit who's been at my side for decades, super loyal.
okay?
Oh
Okay.
right. Oh right, he's got kids and a wife and a house with a mortgage on it. And I never even knew his kid's name, let alone that one of them's lame and that he's this bright, brilliant ball of sun, happy kid that would, the world would be missing if he died. And it's like why didn't I ever even so much as ask this? Why I never even asked Cratchit if he had kids. What the fuck is wrong with me?
Which is the absolute point of the story. Like he
Yeah,
really does that whole change. The overture of this movie is Michael Caine is Scrooge.
yeah,
And then return to the cemetery and Scrooge's fear over seeing his name on the tombstone. He's like, I'm not the man I was. Why would you show me this if all is beyond hope? Like,
yeah.
it's a good point.
Is
And
is the is this the side of things that will be or what could be? That's one of those that's kind of like that's from the book. It's the running theme in every version that's ever been adapted to it because that's kind of like what it comes down to is it's not too late to change is the theme of it, and that's what he's
right.
asking. He's asking the ghost of Christmas future, is it too late to change or not? And I think
Which
that's
really
kind
is
of
the main question of this character.
right.
And the reality is no, it's never too late. Never too late.
Exactly. Yeah.
And returns to his bedchamber a new man, a joyous man of Christmas. And like that shot where he goes into the mirror, he's like, huh, huh, I really love that. Hires the caroling bunny to get a turkey, and he is just excited to surprise the Cratchits. And every question, he's like, you're a smart man. You're an exceptional lad. Just every word that comes out of his mouth is now bolstering up the people because he knows how to bring them down.
Right.
So maybe he knows how to bring them up too. The charity professor and Beaker get a huge donation, complete with, from what he says, a bunch of back payments as well.
Right. Yeah.
Thankful Heart, sang by Michael Caine as Scrooge, is one of the final songs. Beautiful. Stops by the office to give gifts of coal. I mean, it could have
I mean,
been something. I
it
mean,
is
you understand the representation of what like the
right.
story and all that, but like Santa gives coal to the bad ones, so like
I mean, they are rats. Let's
racist. Uh, he stops by the office to give gifts to Cole, by his nephews to give hugs and confusion, by Sam and Fozzie's because apparently they grew old and now they live together, and to drop gifts, by the crooks and the
Where's that
mice.
story? Like, where?
Yeah, I'm a little curious about that one. I don't know where that came out of. Rushes the crowd away to prank Cratchit, and then gives him a raise while Miss Piggy's threatening to give him a raise.
Right, yeah.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, he gives him a raise, pays the mortgage on his house, and then delivers a giant turkey. Ends on The Love We Found by the Muppet
Skipping over
cast.
the pack, he's delivering an uncooked turkey at like noon on Christmas Day.
You know what? There is that.
It's the thought that
I had my
counts.
thought on that. I had my thought on that. But whatever. Whatever.
Right, okay. It's the thought that counts, yeah.
It's a thought that counts. And I like that. I like how it actually ends with Gonzo saying, "If you like this, you should read the book."
Right, exactly.
I thought that was a really good throw to Dickens, which he doesn't need one, but still honor the source material.
Sure,
Absolutely.
yeah, 100%. And especially again, keeping in mind that while I have said there's no such thing as too grown up for the Muppets, they are keeping in mind that this is technically for kids, and so making sure to make the point, say like, hey kids, read a book. Like it's never a bad idea to toss that in there when you get the
Oh,
chance.
come on. Tell adults to read books, man. Not enough adults read enough books, man.
That is a very good point there. Yes,
And I'm
you
not
got a
saying
point.
that as a guy trying to sell his own books. I'm saying that as seriously, people need to read more, man. All
Yeah.
right, final thoughts on The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Muppet Christmas Carol. Well, I don't think I need to tell anyone that this is a must see. I think this is already on everyone's view list. Um, but yes, it is culturally iconic. There have been dozens upon dozens upon dozens of adaptations of this story in one form or another, and I think this is the one that has withstood the test of time. And yes, I am including the um, masterpiece theater version that was and the Disney version that I was mentioning before. Like all of these eventually get aged out, for one reason or another after like maybe 10, 15 years. This one, this one, nah, this one's gonna outlive us all.
I very much agree. This is the best. So the reason that I brought this one in, because we are changing the formula this week a little bit. We are not doing the movie fights. So we were talking more along the lines of why we brought, like, for the individual, why you brought
Right?
this
Yeah.
in, stuff like that.
Exactly.
I brought this in just because the Muppets are iconic to American media.
Hmm.
Like what Jim Henson brought to the world, all of this, and there is no better Muppets movie than A Muppet Christmas Carol.
For sure.
In my eyes, this is absolutely the best one. It is one that I will revisit every single year until the day I die. And it's too iconic. It is absolutely a must see. There's no way around it. And it's just too feel good.
Hmm. And yeah, I agree. I definitely also, yeah, I've got a very special place in my heart for the Muppets. There have been many, many other attempts to make puppet-based entertainment for kids and adults. For some reason, nothing has ever caught the magic the way the Muppets have. They did it best and still are doing it best. And yeah, probably one of the greatest outrages of my adulthood is how since Disney acquired the Henson Company, they did not give it they haven't treated it the same way that they're treating Marvel now. They're not giving us an expanded Muppets universe every year the way they are with Marvel, and that bothers me. But yeah, like it's hard to say what this movie means to me outside of just being the Muppets. The Muppets is its own kind of thing. So yeah, you're right. It's iconic. It's cultural. It even goes beyond American borders. Muppets, Sesame Street is constantly showing in hundreds of countries.
Doc,
The
you
Mupp
have a point. We got another
I
movie to
thought
get to.
I thought I would find one if I just kept talking, but no, I guess I kept rambling. I might find a point, but no, yeah, I guess no.
Well, that's
Mission failed. Moving on.
It is 8-Bit Christmas, written by Michael Dowse, directed by Kevin Jakubowski, starring Winslow Fegley, Neil Patrick Harris, Steve Zahn, which, my God, I do not see enough Steve Zahn these days,
Mm.
Sophia Reid-Gantzert, I don't know how to say that quickly, and Bellaluna Resnick, with June Diane Raphael, Tafari, Santino Barnard, Max Malas, Brielle and Braelyn Rankins, Cyrus Arnold, Chandler Dean, and David Cross,
David Cross.
which I think was the secret Santa in this movie.
I would know, yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'm right there with you. No,
Okay,
that's
cool.
what. Yeah, no, this movie was lovingly crafted by someone who grew up on Christmas movies in the 80s, for sure.
Oh, I could see that. I could really see. Well, here's the thing about this one.
Mm.
This one, I was watching it, the whole thing, I was enjoying it. Many, many moments of this movie, I enjoyed it. I was like, what is Doc seeing on this one? Then the end completely wiped me out. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
No, like when I say it wiped me out, I mean, there were some tears.
Mm-hmm.
They were there. And then all of a sudden, no, dude, I was sobbing.
No.
This man, the way this got me.
Yeah, and for all of that, one of the things that really got me about it, and this is not my own like uh genius interpretation. This is what when I first heard about this movie, this is how it was told to me as how to kind of take it in. It is the new Christmas story. For my
Very
generation
much
and
so.
yours, a lot of us grew up watching the Christmas Story, which was about basically our parents' generation as kids, and the Christmas present thereafter. This is add 30 years to that. This is my generation growing up as a kid to show to my kids kind of thing. And so yeah, it very much is that very next, it's the new version of the Christmas Story. And I think that it sold on that perfectly, 100%. I saw it one year by myself. The very next Christmas, as the family was getting together, I'm like, okay, we're all doing our favorite Christmas movie thing. This one's mine. I'm making everybody watch this. And I'm probably going to be doing that for years to come. Because yeah, I think this is going to be my Christmas movie for a while.
I can see that. It kind of pairs perfectly with your personality and a lot that goes with it. So this one opens on wishes for Santa in Chicago and Neil Patrick Harris arguing with his daughter, Annie, played by Sophia Reid-Gantzert. I'm not embarrassing. Busts his ass on the ice. That's how that has to go. That's how that's how that has to go in real life every time. That's just
Yep.
That's just how life works.
Mm-hmm.
Making it to their grandparents and that bummer kid. You cannot do anything to make make a kid happy. Everything's all of it.
Yep.
And then, ta-da! It's my first Nintendo. That looks like Tupperware.
Yeah,
dude.
Which had never occurred to me until she said it, and I'm like, oh my God, it is Tupperware. All these years that never hit me.
It looks like Tupperware. That's exactly what it looks like. My God. But the thing that I really loved about this moment was like, but first you gotta. Why? I don't know. You just gotta do it.
Right. Yeah.
That is exactly true. 100%. I gotta say, this kid, Sophia Reid-Gantzert, she plays like she nails that disinterested kid so well.
All of the kids in this movie, that's the crazy thing, is like they got some sort of crazy, weirdly like talent machine for every kid in this movie, and which I have never seen before.
We were just talking recently, The Golden Compass, a couple episodes back, and we were and I was saying, I don't really want a dog child. Like I didn't really want a dog on that child actor because, kid actors. But at the same time, we have many examples of them absolutely crushing it.
Right.
Any one of these kids could have done that movie better than that particular actor.
Well, I mean, like that one kid, we haven't introduced the kid characters yet, but Farmer, for instance, that kid who plays Farmer,
Yeah.
he's a little teeny tiny Jack Black. They cut off Jack Black's toe, put it in the thing of water, and that kid sprouted out of it. Like, where the
Oh, he
fuck
was
did they
great.
find that kid?
Oh, he was absolutely great. I love the year was the late 80s.
How many times have I done that on this show?
It works. But it works. It works so well. It's so good. Then we flash to a young Jake Doyle, Neil Patrick Harris's character,
Right.
played by Winslow Fegley, riding with a helmet on, a green one. And he just kept transitioning because
Right.
he was lying and being like, "No, we were super safe in the 80s." It was a great way they did that.
Like for me again, flashbacks of, when I was a kid riding on my skateboard and coming home with injuries and having to explain to my mom why I wasn't wearing all the safety equipment that she bought me.
Because I didn't look cool.
Right.
Pretty
And it
simple.
kind of sucked to put on.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Showing up to the psycho Timmy Caine, played by Chandler Dean, to play Nintendo. Only the first 10 kids get in, and we get the best friends intro.
This is another one of those. This is another one of those. Like I've mentioned before about how, like I miss Edgar Wright doing comedy, because the way he directs comedy, he's not just pointing the camera at funny people and letting them do their thing. He actually conducts a scene where the cues have the humor in them. This is an example of that. This guy went to the Edgar Wright School of Humor Directing, because when that crazy rich kid comes to the window, he doesn't just step up to the window. They had him glide up like a fucking supervillain, like shit like that. Little tiny things that probably cost them $1 million each, but were fucking worth it every time.
Oh, they were great. But the best friends intro, Mikey Trotter, played by Che Tafari, Evan Olsen, played by Santino Barnard, Tammy Hodges, played by Brielle Rankins, Teddy Hodges, played by Braelyn Rankins, and the kid we were talking about earlier, Jeff Farmer, played by Max Malice. And that kid
watch out for this kid. He's gonna be
definitely
something.
Oh, I'm pretty sure all of these kids are gonna go somewhere. Like,
no, you're probably right. Yeah, for sure.
Like, this one's gonna go 8 a.m. It's game time. Timmy picks the winners like a true dick. And then he has the intercom mom. He's like, "Oh, we got friends over here. Can I get some Pop-Tarts? How many? One."
Right.
Oh, I knew kids like that, and
this goes right back to what we were talking about before of with Ebenezer Scrooge, how that whole scene with the rats, how everything he says is just so cold-blooded. We're getting another version of that here. This is the cold-blooded rich kid who's just like, he's going out of his way to be the biggest dick he can. Like, this is
very relatable. I swear to God, we all know somebody like that, or we all 100%. Knew somebody like that.
Yeah.
And then tricking the mom. So the kid gets back and he's like, "All right, I have a plan. I know how to do it." He tricks his mom, played by June Diane Raphael, by understanding how she do.
Right.
Puts ketchup all over his sweater. Then we get to see Steve Zahn. I was so excited when I saw Steve Zahn. I went into this blind. I did not know that he was in this, and I love Steve Zahn.
Yeah, no, he's great.
Yeah, I love that. Renovating dad, no safety glasses, and instead a bag over his head instead. Perfectly relatable. Completely understand that. Dad, he passed the dad, he passed the mom, and the perfect daughter, and she knows how to highlight it. Oh
yeah. Which, by the way, again, they got themselves a Drew Barrymore clone to play the sister. Like, where the fuck did they find these kids? It's crazy.
The casting call on this one, they took their time and they nailed it.
Yeah.
Oh, they nailed it. You didn't play outside? It's not even below zero. Way relatable. Way relatable. Oh, I grew up in that territory.
So this might be one of my favorite Christmas memories, okay? Watching this movie last year for the first time with the family. Like I said, I got like the whole family's together. And while this scene is playing, my son turns to me and goes, "Jesus Christ, were parents really that bad back then?" And I'm like, motherfucker, your grandmother's sitting right there. What are you trying to do to me?
First off, parents were that good back then. That no, getting kicked out of the house to go actually have a childhood. No, that was the right call. Like I get that. I like that.
And while that by itself is understandable, but the fact that that mentality was paired with advertisements on TV saying it's 10 o'clock at night, do you know where your children are? Kind of goes to show that this wasn't exactly parenting that was causing this to happen.
True. Okay, fair. Yeah. I like that the daughter. It looks like it's a no-go on Tendo. And then the dad, like, oh, best kid ever. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Your other kid's right there. But no, that is the younger sibling and the daddy-daughter dynamic. Like,
Yeah.
no, that is just there. King of the Mountain, played by Josh Jaworski. Or no. King of the Mountain, Josh Jaworski, played by Cyrus Arnold.
Right.
Oh man, just the inclusion of King of the Mountain. I can't remember the last time I saw that. I mean, I don't watch a lot of movies made for kids these days, but
Right.
that was a huge part of my childhood, and that should
No,
be
yeah.
in every movie.
The number of just like and these are conversations I've had with my kids about the number of just weirdly bizarre games that we came up with in the 80s because yeah, there was no internet and we were constantly being kicked out of the house. And so it's like, and I know like we didn't invent Kick the Can, but Kick the Can was a game. King of the Hill was a game. Like these were things that we did because we literally had nothing else to do. So we're like, I guess we'll just beat each other up for a couple hours and see what happens.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the good times.
Yeah.
Oh, the first mention of the Power Glove. And you gotta bribe them with gifts. Nobody knows. No. I just told this person, the coach, this person.
Okay.
And then the coach is there trying to play the Power Glove too. Untraceable cash. No, that got me pretty good.
Again, another moment of just stellar directing to add to the humor of every.
The big thing about the directing on this scene that I really want to bring up is they had the older sister come out, put the stereo down, look back and go, this is stupid. Like, no, grounded this all the way in reality. Like, this whole movie was all the way grounded in reality.
For sure, yeah.
And, like, little things like that made it amazing. So he brings a summer sausage to try and bribe his way in, which it does come in handy.
Which I tell you is interesting because, like, at first it's like, you got to bring him a gift. And he's like, summer sausage is the best I could do. But it turns out that wasn't even the worst idea. Everyone like went panicked and like grabbed garbage to bring this kid, try to pass off as a gift.
There was some stuff there. Yeah, I think people just went and grabbed like whatever present was under the tree and stuff like that. I don't know who it's for. It's for you.
Right.
The background music and the taekwondo. It's like karate, but more expensive. Come on. Get out of here with this.
That might be my favorite line of the movie.
It might be mine too. I'm not sure, but it is pretty good God. Then we found out the horror of our generation. The Power Glove sucked.
Yeah.
And
yep.
Okay. There was only one moment in this movie that was not, the Power Glove was not the thing that it was supposed to be.
Both the excitement for it, that it might be the greatest thing ever, and the crushing blow of finding out it's absolute garbage. Yes. I went through that entire roller coaster in real time back then.
I'm glad that I was never able to afford the Power Glove because I never had to find that out. That was a really good thing for me. And then we get our John Wick moment, but in reverse. Little kid like karate kicks the TV, and then oh god, yeah, no, the sound Kelly made when she thought that dog died.
I am so mad that I missed that.
Oh, it was pretty funny. Then like
And that whole bit afterwards with the daughter, where the daughter is even like, "There's a dead dog in this story," and he's like, "Hey, the '80s were a complicated time." Like,
yeah, so I thought you were all safe. It was complicated. All the kids bolt, and the next day, the snow is falling, and there's no snow day. And I love the way the mom flips, and she's like, come on," and then the name does get. She flips out. She's like, "I told you not to get your hopes up." Relatable.
yep,
Oh
yep.
man, super relatable. In class with the snot rag teacher, which, yeah, Kelly and we both had one of those teachers.
Oh, sure, yeah, yep.
Oh, disgusting. Hated it. Teaching about the Dewey Decibel System and how important it's going to be when they're adults.
It's like, this, like cursive, will be important for the rest of your. They literally said that line.
Fantastic line. I'm pretty sure that I actually heard that line as a child as well. They talk about how the pup survived, and recess with the girl boots. And okay, the girl boots thing, that was great, having his daughter actually like, wait, what's the problem? They were just boots. It's like,
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. What
it was
made
a
them
different
girl boots? Did
time.
they only fit girl feet? No, they were purple. Yeah, no.
Yeah, maybe kids today, city kids today, may not totally understand a
Sure.
lot of that. Country kids, they still get that. Like,
Yeah.
it's still like that. Oh, at recess with Connor Stumped, played by Jacob Laval, and man, did that kid nail it as the weird kid.
Another child actor grown in a lab. I don't know who he's a clone of, but clearly he did not happen naturally. He was too perfect for his role.
Absolutely perfect. Teddy comes in to try and save him, but the big bully Josh finds out, and he sees the boots, and he's like, "Oh, I've been wanting to punch somebody, and you're wearing purple boots. I'm gonna punch you." It's like, okay, the bully logic, yeah, it really didn't make sense.
No, yeah.
No, that was kind of one of those things.
It was
But then
never about anything you did. Yeah.
no, just anything you did.
Yep, exactly.
That's what it was. But then he gets saved by the flyer, and watching the bully like just hug everybody, jump up and down, all this, and then we got it. I'm gonna kill you. Yay! That was outstanding inclusion.
Yep.
They got to sell wreaths for a first prize of a Nintendo, which, oh god, now that I know, I'm angry after the fact now, even more. The first house has a wreath, and like I love like he comes up, he's like, "There's a wreath on the door," and as he shuts the door, "Ma, this kid thinks your wreath sucks."
I think that was probably more Chicago humor than it was '80s humor.
Well, that was William Poulin, so I'm guessing like that might have something to do with that. Little Jeff has that little Jeff Farmer, that little kid, that like Salis or Malis, whatever his name. Dude, he came in, he had that sales technique, and that is an adult in a little kid's body, man. The way that he nailed those lines.
I genuinely think they literally just told him to do Jack Black for the movie. They were like, we want a child Jack Black for this role. And the kid went, "Oh, I gotcha."
Oh, he nailed it.
Yep.
Shovel my car out and I'll buy a wreath. Oh, relatable. I'm telling you, if you didn't grow up in a place where snow falls, I'm telling you right now, that is the most relatable thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like,
well, especially
somebody capable showed up at my front door. Lucky me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, for me, it's add the fact that I had somewhat charitable parents that just sent me out with the shovel, and we're like, this person, this person, this person. They're old and they got no kids. Go shovel their walk. And I'm like, but it's Saturday morning cartoons. They're like, go. Close the door, lock it. I can't get in until those walks are shoveled.
Had that too.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope. That's just no. When you're a kid, you're free labor. That's what you are.
Yeah. Exactly.
That is the thing. The mom loving the pathological liar. Yep.
Oh yeah. We've all been there. Yep.
Yep. No, you're like literally the worst one of your friend group. Yes, your mother will love them. Always. I do not understand how that is a guarantee.
I mean, maybe not so much now, but at least for me growing up, it was called the Eddie Haskell effect. because that was in a very, very old classic 60s TV show called Leave It to Beaver. There was a recurring character named Eddie Haskell, and that was his whole thing. He was a literal, actual piece of shit, except for when Beaver's parents showed up. Then all of a sudden, he was the most polite angel mankind had ever met. And so,
Yep.
yeah,
Okay, so this is a
that's
very old thing.
oh, absolutely, yeah. I think this is one of those, humanity's constants.
I can see that.
Yep.
And the beginning of the recurring theme of he still hasn't picked up the poop, and the look on his dad's face, like, here's the thing. I keyed in on like Steve Zahn's character and like that. He's like, come on, man, earn it. Earn it. Like he just kept like his eyes just kept telling this kid, earn the thing that you are asking for. And the kid just kept
Right.
not doing it. And I
Hmm.
was like, man, I'm really seeing this dad energy and really understanding it way better than I should.
Right. And he doesn't want to say it out loud. He doesn't want
No.
to say, if you pick up the poop, I'll get you the Nintendo, because then that makes everything transactional. You want the kid
Yep.
to have the mentality of doing good for good in return without the expectation of the return,
Just good dad stuff.
Yeah.
This is a fun one. If life was fair, it would be a fair. And I don't see any carnival rides around here. And like the kid is like, you just made that up. Like, no, I didn't. Oh, great. So great. And I like this. Another one, that's a lot of poop. Well, you wanted the dog, so you have to clean up after. It's like, you got the dog before I was born. Like, who wanted the dog is irrelevant. The dad. Just so much dad stuff in this. And the way that it was done was just perfect. Absolutely perfect. Oh, and I put that here. It's like more chores, and it's really clear what the dad is doing, and I'm just all the way with him.
Mm.
Like Steve Zahn's character, I loved it. Like you get one F-bomb in this movie, and the rest of the time, like he's really trying to like not curse, and I
Right.
just that inclusion was incredibly intelligent.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. The manipulative sister wants a Cabbage Patch Kid. And then she comes in with like, no, this is a very manipulative little sister. She knows how to manipulate people. She's got the goods. She's got the brains.
Hmm.
It was a good character. And the little kid going to the nursing home and hi everyone. And the excited old zombies going towards him.
I didn't know if I should have been like offended on behalf of the retirement community on that or not, the way they portrayed. But at the same time, it's not like it was a secret how badly they were drugged up back then on a regular basis. So, I guess it's not really.
No, they were going for maximum convenience, not
Yep.
actual care. Like
Yep.
it was a dark time. And I like that he's picking up trying to hold up his end of the deal and get the Cabbage Patch for his sister. And they're like, does he want a Cabbage Patch Kid now? Like that was, I was really hoping that the movie might go down that route. But
Right.
then
Yeah.
he like they cleared it up really easy. She's like, what's going on? He's like, oh, Lizzie really wants one. I'm like, hey, movies aren't allowed to solve problems that easy. Come on. No. Where's all of our conflict and problems and misunderstandings? Come on. No, you literally, you just,
Characters are not supposed to communicate clearly with each other. Where are we going to get our drama?
come on, man. No, you just horror movie The Girl Called the Cops right away at the beginning. Like, come on. Stole the thunder right out from under me.
But it's not like I think they thought about going that route, but then realized we've already got too much movie here. Let's just go ahead and cut this.
I could see that. The dad going about like the grown men acting that cheery. It's just not natural. Like,
Yep. I was on the dad's side on that one personally. Like
I think anybody acting that cheery is pretty unnatural. Like, just is what that is. Empty shelves and the PTSD janitor.
dude, that janitor, man, like
That was a good one. That was a really good one.
just that I mean, and yeah, it was like it was something out of a horror movie. He's just sitting there, just like mopping and being like, it was a crazy scene. Saw a mother punch a grandmother right in the throat. Same family too. Like
It was great. So good. Nintendo steals the good brother part of Big Brother. I have all the games. Pick another one. Pick another one. Dude, so relatable. I could not. The flashbacks of my mind actually going to places like, we have all the games, and every single game you want to play ain't there.
Right,
That
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they have displays like that do the same thing these days. I just don't know. I don't go to those places as much. But that was a huge thing in the 80s and 90s, and
Yeah.
oh, it was constantly frustrating. On a streak, that retainer drop. There's no retainer needed for the Nintendo Master.
No, of course not. No.
Nah. And then he's like, nothing could snap me out of it. Then he gets his full name. It's like, yeah, that'll snap you out of anything.
Yeah, middle name and everything. And
Oh
where
yeah.
is your sister? Which
Oh yeah.
I didn't have siblings growing up. My oldest brother is 13 years younger than me. So I didn't go through any of that like older brother stuff. But I know enough about siblinghood to know where is your sister is probably the most shocking thing anyone can hear them say. Like I
I
like
had
even as
siblings.
yeah, even as someone who hasn't had to live with that, like I understood just how horrible that moment was supposed to be.
Oh yeah. No, my sister 2 years, like just 2 years difference, but no, the responsibility, we were completely responsible for each other because the fact that I'm a boy 2 years younger, it did like age barely matter because they're like, well, yeah, you're a boy, you're supposed to take care of your sister. And I'm like, but she's babysitting me.
Right.
Like, no, like the fun of growing up in that era.
Sure, yeah.
Lizzie interrogating Santa, fantastic scene. And the way that
Mhm.
the way the Santa responded was great as well.
Right, yeah.
Angry dad and the missing retainer eyes.
Dude, that moment, like it's like that's your sister. It's not like losing your retainer. Beat, beat, open your mouth.
Yep. Oh, the dread, everything. That was it was too good.
Again, like and you know, and I've said this before. There was no need for this scene to be in the movie, but the movie would not have been the same without it. That whole retainer bit.
Yeah, the chase scene and
Yeah,
everything, and then the nasty retainer, he puts it in his mouth and smiles at his dad. And his
right.
dad's just like, yeah, okay. Like he didn't just chase him through the entire mall. But no, that was I had fun with this one. The weird kid. How many wreaths have you sold? Oh, 93. What about you? What's a wreath? Dude, this kid nailed it.
Doesn't
This
make sense, but it doesn't need to. Just all you
no.
need to understand is that this is the weird kid of the class.
The dad trying to bond, and then I kind of got a lot going on, dad. Dude, you kid, you suck. Like, oh my god. And he's like, I don't negotiate with terror. Like talking about well,
The si-
how come
right, because
Lizzie gets what she wants? Like, 'cause I don't
they're
negotiate with
literally in the
terrorists.
yeah, in she's literally they're literally in this scene. They're waiting under a bridge to buy a black market Cabbage Patch doll for the little sister, and the brother's like, "You're going above and beyond to get my sister her Christmas present while telling me to my face that I will never get the thing that I want. Like, what the hell?" And Dad's like, "So do you want to deal with your sister if she doesn't get what she wants?" And he literally says, "I don't negotiate with terrorists." And he goes, "You mean by giving her whatever she wants?" He's like, "Yeah, exactly." The a completely different interpretation of never negotiate with terrorists.
Oh yeah. And you know what? Fair enough. When it's
I
your
mean,
daughter, David Cross selling black market Cabbage Patch Kids. And I thought the daughter was gonna lose her mind because it was the wrong doll. Like,
mhm,
cause it was either red hair with freckle, or like it was either red because she wanted the one with red hair and freckles, but there was either blonde with freckles or red hair and no freckles. I
right.
thought that was going to be a problem. The movie just didn't care.
No, yeah.
I was kind of like that was kind of unexpected.
Which
And
I think it grounds in, like we were talking about before, the reality of this. Like, as much of a fantastical comedy movie this is clearly based on a lot of whoever the writer or director's actual growing up is. And it turns out that not everything has to be a point of drama. Like, yeah, there's a lot going on in this movie, but yeah, they didn't have to have a misunderstanding where the parents buy the son a Cabbage Patch doll, and they didn't have to have the sister be such a piece of shit that she's gonna lose her mind because the toy that she asked for isn't perfect.
right. And then we cut to Scoutmaster Halberg, played by David McClinnis, and the prize giveaways. Oh, this whole scene hurt, man. So Jeff, our guest for the future master actor, he gets a subscription to Boy's Life. Ugh. The Hodges twins get a globe, and it goes right in the trash.
I know, that was great. Yeah, they're like, it's a globe of the whole world, and you just take and right in the garbage can that's sitting right there next to them. Like, doesn't even walk
Just
to his seat with it.
Just tosses the whole world in the trash. Exactly. Jake Doyle wins. And dude, what? He won more school. Oh my God. I hated life for that kid in that moment. Just thinking you're gonna win a Nintendo, the thing that you want, the only thing that you want, the thing you've been thinking about, and instead they flip the script and give you a set of encyclopedias instead.
Right.
Which, let's be real, probably more expensive than a Nintendo.
Probably, for sure, yes.
So,
in fact, yes, I do know for a fact that yes, a full encyclopedia stack at that time was probably about 3 times the cost of a Nintendo.
Which is nuts.
Yeah.
And so what went down? Tom Rooney as Timmy Keene Sr. had a PowerPoint presentation, old school PowerPoint presentation.
Right. The rich kid's dad is now on a tear against video game violence because of what happened at his house with the dog getting smushed by the TV.
Because his poor sweet boy couldn't be. No.
Right, yeah. He does. It's not his son's fault at all. It's the video games. The video games made him violent. Yes.
Yeah,
so
gave him attention deficit, whatever.
Something or other. Yeah. It was a very new, very rare condition.
Yeah, apparently. But they're like, yeah, no, our boy couldn't be. He was amazing. And like, you gave him, you can't give Timmy cheese.
Right.
Like, it's like, okay, no, this kid's a nightmare. You know it. Come on, shut up. And Timmy Sr. is now anti-game protester, and it goes all the way. So they're like, no, the Nintendo is dangerous. 3 minutes on this, and it ruins your children's lives.
Right.
And so they switch out, and the entire town now is on a ban against Nintendo.
All video games, yeah, including Nintendo. Yep.
Yes. And
this movie doesn't even bother mentioning Sega or Intellivision, because fuck them.
Well, I mean, they weren't the big one. Like, Sega was...
I guess Sega wasn't out yet, but there was the Intellivision, and I think the Coleco was another one that was out. Yeah. So there were a couple others out there, but they never caught on the way Nintendo did.
Well, they didn't say Nintendo in their protest. It was game over.
Right. Yes. No.
Like it was just games.
Yep.
And Lizzie being a kind sister with the remote was really surprising. And Annie's like, she gave you the remote? Wow, you must have really been going through it.
Right.
Like, very sweet moment. Very, very sweet moment on both his sister and his daughter.
Yeah.
That was nice. And then a thing that has happened to me a few times already in talking to my niece and nephew. Annie wants to know what happened in the story, and is like, oh, we went to the roller rink. What's a roller rink? Oh. That makes me really sad that my niece and nephew have no experience at a roller rink.
Yeah.
I loved that as a kid. Like that was a huge thing for me and my buddies. Swear we're oh right. So the twin birthdays that are also close to Christmas, man, man,
Yeah.
man, that would suck. Like they get stuff they have to share, and they have to share their birthday with the holiday.
Yeah.
No. Oh man,
Yeah.
I don't have anything like that, but I feel bad for anybody who does.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I kind of like for me, it's never happened to me. It's never happened to me personally, but I have friends. But no, I mean, literally in my family, my mom, my daughter, and my brother are all December birthdays, and so it's been drilled into me since birth that these things are separate. You do not give one gift for both holidays. You will be giving them two gifts on pain of death.
Good,
Yeah.
good. That's nice. That's nice. Um, they discover there's a swear word on the our. Okay, so how does that go? It's a swear word on a baseball bat on a card, and they call it a misprint. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not what a misprint is.
But it's classified as a misprint because as soon as people realized what he had on his bat, they discontinued it really quickly and put out another one and classified the old one as a misprint that wasn't supposed to go out. And apparently, it was maybe 100 of these cards actually got out into the public before they managed to stop the shipment, and so that makes it extra rare.
Which selling that for $100, yeah,
Mhm.
probably would have been able to buy a house with that at some point. 15-point plan to get a Nintendo. Like I like that. Like it was great for them to toss it in there. I don't think that means what you think that means. Fantastic. It's referencing an 80s movie. You got to do it.
Right.
And then, no, I don't know what it means, but who's with me? Just the confidence. That's all you need, man. You just need the
Yeah.
confidence and they'll roll with you. Like that. Selling the card and building cash. The heist misdirect. I thought they were going to steal the Nintendo when they all got together and like were putting a plan. I thought it was going to be a heist. I was wrong. Jakubowski hones in and steals the binder. And then, oh man, the no boots, no field trip. It was a great way to pay off that setup from earlier because
Right.
they really didn't need to at any point, but they
No.
pay it off twice. And I thought
Yeah.
that was really, really clever. The weird kid. You want to hear about my ant farm? All the ants died, but the uncle survived. Dude, that joke was so in my face, it took me like 5 minutes to get it. I was like, oh, what? This kid is so weird. Wait a minute. No,
Yeah.
that's a brilliant joke. What the hell? Yeah, no, that got me. Panic is upon us. What about the money? And the weird kid. Why don't you tell me your favorite letters of the alphabet? This kid was so
and then he goes,
perfect.
I'll tell you mine in order, and then just starts naming off letters of the alphabet out of order, and you're just like,
Which, who the hell's favorite letter is T?
I
I'm just putting that out there. That just makes him even weirder. Favorite letter is supposed to be like Q, W. You know? One of the ones
Yeah.
that's fun to say.
right,
T?
or are not used very often.
Yeah. No. Like they really knew how to make this kid weird even in his weirdness. It was great. It was fantastic writing. Bully the bully. I love my mom and she got me these boots. I loved that, man. That was great. And also, Cyrus Arnold, he did a great job as the bully and as the chicken.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh no,
he's
that kid,
he's doing pretty good with his career.
he's one of those actors that he basically gets cast on his look. He's got a very peculiar look, and so he tends to get cast in very peculiar roles. But he does nail it every time, whatever
Oh,
it is
yes.
they put him in, and so he's kind of one of those sort of unsung heroes of character actors, you know.
And he's shot up in height. He's thinned out. He's like, I'm a little bit curious how they're going to use him in Hollywood moving forward, but I'm definitely interested because he is entertaining as hell.
Oh, for sure.
But gotta run and buy the Nintendo before Olsen runs out of puke because that's their plan. The kid who's allergic to SpaghettiOs has to eat a bunch of SpaghettiOs, and oh god,
Yep.
Oh, they did a good job
Stop the
of it.
bus by vomiting his little guts out, the poor kid.
Yeah, they did a good job of portraying that. I
Yep.
have to admit that. And then Jeff to the lying rescue. Hello, ma'am. I'm from the Nieces and Nephews Collective of Canada. I love, like, it's working. They're going like, oh, this is sweet. Wait, I don't understand all this. Like, she bought it.
Oh.
Someone believed me. I can hear you. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, almost makes it, but the Nintendo gets crushed and then exploded.
Right, I know, that was great. Like, just the added Looney Tunes-ish of it, of he slips, it goes in the road, it gets run over, and then dramatically explodes like it's an action film. Like,
Perfect.
this
Absolutely.
is this is exactly the kind of thing a middle-aged dad would kind of, add to the story when telling to his 10-year-old kid, just like, and then it blew up. It was crazy.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I never even crossed into that, but that might just be his exaggeration on that. That is because
right.
of the story being told. Good. That's a really
Exactly,
good
yeah.
point. I didn't think of that at all. Uh, like then David Cross pops in, and this is what I think he was Santa.
Totally, yeah.
Like
Yep.
I think we have crossed into the era that Santa is no longer a fat guy.
Right.
You got
He's
Kurt Russell
he's
as Buff Santa.
he's a
You got
curmudgeon.
J.K. Rowling, or not J.K.
Mhm.
Rowling, J.K. Simmons
J.K. Simmons, yep.
as Buff Santa.
Yep.
Now you got David Cross as like secret sketchy Santa.
Right. Black
I think
market
we've
Santa.
exited, yeah, Black Market Santa. I think we've exited the era of chubby Santa.
Totally, yeah.
Like, I'm a
I,
little
I'm
sad.
on board with that, yeah.
I like that he's a fat guy. I like the jolly nature of the man. It's just, but it's what I'm used to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
and it's
well,
understandable because he's
my grandpa was the mall Santa for like 20 years, and that was something that I was always crazy proud of. I loved like when I found out that I was going asking my grandpa for gifts, like because he was Santa, and that's how I was actually getting everything that I actually asked for.
wow. That's some mafia shit right there is what that is.
I thought it was really cool. And then as I got older, and when I was a teenager in my early 20s, all this, I would go to the mall and I would see everybody getting in line to go like see my grandpa as Santa. That was just a wild point of pride for me, just seeing my grandpa like that. And he was a big fat man.
Mm, yeah.
And he would grow like, I mean, obviously our family grows a beard.
Sure,
Like
yeah.
he would grow a beard. He would like before he got old enough that it would be white. He would dye it white every year, so when kids would tug on his beard, it would actually be there.
Nice,
Like
nice.
no, there was something real special about that. And I mall Santas, I got a lot of love for them.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Man,
No,
they get shit
that's
on, but
yeah. That is
like,
a thankless job, mall Santa for sure. I've never done it, but I've worked enough mall jobs to have witnessed it take place, and have like I'm sitting there at a calendar kiosk, a line 50 people deep, all of them in a hurry and pissed off and trying to pay with a check, and I'm looking at the mall Santa guy going, well, I'm glad I'm not him. Like,
dude, right? But I like that. So David Cross is talking about a story like when I was a kid, I wanted a donkey. I wanted a donkey so bad. Like, and then Christmas morning came, and guess what? You got a donkey? No, who gets a donkey? Like,
yeah. I did love too.
fantastic.
He's like, yeah. Well, can you? He's like, when I was a kid, I wanted a donkey for Christmas. Can you believe that? And he's all like, well, that would be a pretty weird thing to make up. So yeah, I guess I believe you.
No, that was good. But I like that, like, the character comes in, pays for a taxi, tells them, you know, get in on the side of the door, tell them you got lost, all this, like, really
Right.
kind of sets the kid up for success.
He
Pays,
brings in a hardcore dose of Christmas spirit is what he that's what he does. He's like, he's like, have you even told anyone Merry Christmas this year? And
yeah,
gets him a cab, gets him the plan to sneak back into his field trip, and then goes in like, I need you to do me a favor, kid, have a Merry Christmas. And it's like, yeah, no, absolutely 100%. He is the Santa Claus of the story for
that's
sure.
what I was
You
thinking.
nailed it. Yeah.
But I like what he said. He's like, are you sure? Like, I don't, like, how can I pay you back? He's like, I fleeced your dad for that patch. Like, I like that line. That was a good one. Christmas morning, the camcorder, that moment where his sister says, I love you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's your Christmas movie. Like, right there. Like, all the feel good, all in one good scene. Uncle Dan from Japan sent a gift, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like it's the home of Nintendo. It has to be one. Opens
Right.
it up, and it was a Japanese light bright,
Yep.
and the way that sets in on him, like, and I'll be drawing pictures of a Nintendo when I'm 80 years old on my Japanese light bright.
Right. Yeah.
Kelly and I both thought that there might be a Nintendo in that box. That's what we
No.
thought
Yeah.
the story was going.
Like as many misdirects as this movie has, you still fall for every single one of them. Every single time. You're just like the daughter in the story. You're going like, oh, he gets it this time, right? No. Why
Yep.
the fuck are you telling me this story?
Oh, the movie did a really good job on that. The Hodges twins got a bike who
Mm-hmm.
share. Oh, which, by the way, when you live in a place that is just hardcore winter and you get a bike for Christmas, it's like you're thankful, but at the same time, great. Can't wait for 5 months from now.
Right.
Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
no, it's one of those kind of gifts that it's like, you suck. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Go pick up the poop. And Steve Zahn's dad face is perfect. Perfect.
Mm.
And like just full stop. Perfect. And then you find out, like, in the whole movie, he keeps on like, you don't need to go behind the shed. You don't need to go, like, don't worry about that back there. And the kid, like, a kid is like, oh, I don't have to. Great. Never does. And if
Yep.
he just one time would have gone back there to, like, do it, he would have seen his dad had been building him a tree for it the whole year. Everything that he'd been working on, even the gift that he got from his wife, the sander, which
Mm-hmm.
fantastic idea, like inclusion to have the mom sitting on the couch with the kids while the dad is sanding just the nearest
Yeah.
piece of wood.
Yeah. And she's like, honey, do you have to do that right now? And he's like, but you gave this to me. Like,
I know. He's like, you got it for me. Like it was a gift. Like, oh, this movie was great. Then like the daughter finds out like, well, what about the Nintendo? He's like, I had to work for that. Spent all next summer doing that, all this, and yeah, the tree fort got me teary eyed. When the
mm,
daughter said that, like, the real thing about that story, what made that story special, was that was the year. I'm already getting goosebumps. That was
yeah.
the year that you and Grandpa found your thing.
Yeah.
That
And then
broke me.
we look around the house and we see all the little pieces of woodwork that have both his and his dad's initials carved into them. And yeah, it was like out of left fucking field. Now you start crying. Like, and you're
Yep.
like, yeah, no.
It's like, yep, okay, I'm with you. I'm crying. You have my tears. You won. And then what sent it even further down the hole, he was a magician. He was a hero. He was my dad. Dude. Oh, this movie, like, it absolutely crushed me. Like, it was good. It was fun. It was entertaining the whole way through. And
Yep.
then it stuck the landing so hard.
Oh yeah.
Plus the bonus, you find out that because him and that one girl were wearing the same boots, they wound
Right.
up falling in love and getting married, and we never even talked about it.
No, yeah, like we get that as another like surprise drop at the end when the daughter is retelling the story to mom, and mom turns and goes, "You left out the part where we had matching boots." And he's like, "No, I told her that part. I told her that part."
No, that was I. Well, all right,
Yeah, no, I'm
Doc.
telling you,
Why did
man.
why? So, final thoughts. Why did you bring? Why did you want to bring this one on the channel?
Well, I mean, I kind of said it at the beginning is that after I saw this, like I immediately connected to it. I really feel like this is going to be the new generation's Christmas story. I think this is going to be the classic that lives on for decades. That our kids and grandkids, should we choose to have them, will be watching this every year and being like, "Man, it was crazy back then," and we'll just be sitting there, old and decrepit. We're gonna have to take. taking our teeth in and out for eating and going like, oh yeah, those were the days. Back then, kids had to, spend money on video games. We didn't just get them streaming in a service like you do now.
It is pretty. It should be. It is set up to be an instant classic,
It really is, yeah.
and it just needs to be
And
seen more. That's it.
and even to compare it to the Christmas Story, I think it sticks the landing better than Christmas Story does because I don't
Well,
remember
it's because it's
having.
a Christmas Story mixed with.
Yeah, well, I mean, but coming up with when I say like that ending where it was, this was the Christmas that you and Dad found your thing, and the family, mourning the fact that Dad has passed away since then, and they're spending a Christmas without him, and all that. Like they didn't have any of that closure in the original Christmas Story. In the original Christmas Story, and I don't even remember how it ended, but I know
No,
it
that's
didn't have
why I
any of
was
that.
saying mixed. Like it's
Yeah,
mixed
okay.
with like the Princess Bride.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of that too. You're right. Yeah.
No, like they got the best elements from a couple different classics, put them together and stuck the landing.
They really did. Yeah. No, this movie is a fantastic work of art. I'm going to call this a must see for years to come. If it
I'm going
doesn't
to call this a
become
must-see Christmas story.
for sure, yes.
It is the
Yeah.
mod. It is the one for your generation. Positively bleeds into the the older millennials a little bit, but
Hmm.
we were the Super Nintendo generation.
Right. Yeah.
So a lot of it is there because I mean realistically 80s and 90s there was not a lot of difference.
Not a lot. Yeah. No.
Like
Last I heard, there's not even a really clear divide between Gen X and millennials because we were all mixed in there so much with
yeah,
with
it's
our
really
with
it's
our
really
culture.
the introduction over the popularity and the convenience of cell phones like when everybody had them, that's kind
Yeah.
of when the generation like hit. So but
Yeah.
it's just like the age demographic doesn't work anymore like in those
No.
generation
Really.
aspects. All right, final thoughts on 8-Bit Christmas and A Muppet Christmas Carol.
I mean, yeah, no, it's gonna be really hard to come up with, anything to talk about next year because those basically are the two Christmas movies.
Well, as true as that is 8-Bit Christmas your favorite Christmas movie?
At the moment, it is. Yes, it is
Okay,
now.
well
Like I
then, I
said,
mean,
like when I saw it for the first time, it grabbed me instantly. I have not stopped thinking about it.
so we did our first Christmas with just our favorites. There
Hmm.
are plenty of really good Christmas movies. Like, I mean, come on, man. Miracle on 34th Street?
Okay,
34th?
yeah, okay, I see your point there. All right.
Is that 32nd? 30?
No, no,
Mir-
it's 34th. You're right. Yeah,
okay, yeah. Miracle on 34th Street, that's a good one. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, classic. And the
yeah,
Ron Howard How the Grinch Stole Christmas is really good.
yeah. Didn't care for it.
Oh,
I mean, I guess that's just me, but yeah, I didn't really care for it.
we'll have to get into that next year, maybe.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
But yeah, any final thoughts?
No, I guess just yeah. Merry Christmas yesterday, everyone.
Fair enough. All right. We will be back on next Thursday, and we might be doing a little bit of a shift for next week's episode because we just got back from, or well, not just,
Right.
uh, in between the last time we were live and now, we went to LA and we covered the premiere of a new horror flick, Tony Todd's last leading role, and we got to cover that, do some interviews. So maybe next week we'll be doing the podcast over doing our coverage.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, yeah.
Figure something out.
I know we've still been trying to figure out because yeah, our show format doesn't exactly lend to the whole interviews slash red carpet thing that we were doing there. So where we were gonna fit this in, I know was a mystery to me, but I figured
Probably just as a bonus episode on the podcast, but I figure something for YouTube.
yeah,
But
okay.
all right, we'll see you guys next Thursday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. From now until then, stay safe and stay sane.
Adios, friends.